All right, ready to dive in. Today, we're tackling whisper marketing.
Ah, yes. Stealthy, under the radar stuff.
It aims to make campaigns go viral, but like in a super discreet way,
Yeah.
almost like shh, it's a secret.
Exactly. It's less in your face than traditional ads. More about psychology, really.
Okay, so our sources all mention this exclusivity angle.
Yeah.
What makes it so effective?
Well, think about it. When you know something, others don't.
Makes you feel kind of special.
Yeah. Like you're in the loop, you've got that inside scoop.
And that feeling, it's powerful stuff.
It boosts your status, right? Shows you're resourceful, in the know.
So whisper marketing, it's not just sharing a secret. It's like social currency.
Exactly. And people want to hold on to that.
So they share selectively.
Keeps the cycle going.
Which brings us to our next point, curiosity. Our sources say these campaigns give you a taste but leave you wanting more.
Right. Information's held back strategically.
Makes the audience work for it.
Instead of just passively watching an ad, you're trying to figure it out.
Like those movie trailers,
Yeah.
the ones that hint at a twist.
Perfect analogy. You leave wanting more.
And gotta see it again to catch what you missed.
That ties into another factor. Authenticity. So much advertising is in your face.
The subtle approach almost feels more genuine.
Exactly. Today's consumers can spot a sales pitch a mile away.
Anything too pushy just turns them off.
But when something feels organic, like you discovered it yourself,
Way more power.
you're not being sold to, you're in on something special.
Okay, last point our sources hit, engagement. The brand doesn't do all the talking.
Consumers become advocates.
You're so intrigued they have to discuss it.
Share theories, compare notes, it's word of mouth on steroids.
And we all know recommendations from friends.
Way more persuasive than any ad.
All right, so whisper marketing can be potent. But what makes it truly successful? What are the must-have ingredients?
Let's see. First up, an intriguing message.
Let it grab attention.
Yeah, but it's a balancing act. Mystery, but clarity too.
One source calls it the art of the half-told story.
Love that. Give enough to connect dots, but...
Leave room for people to fill in the blanks.
Exactly. Makes them feel like part of something exclusive.
So not total secrecy, but just enough revealed to make them want more.
Precisely. Second ingredient, targeted diffusion. We're not shouting from the rooftops.
So no mass social media blasts.
Nope. Start small, carefully selected group.
Cultivating that exclusivity.
People who are already influential or super engaged customers.
Your initial whisperers.
Ones starting the buzz organically.
Makes it seem more credible.
Exactly. Their early buy-in makes others take notice.
I want to be part of that.
And of course, you need shareable content, something people actually want to talk about.
Got to be buzzworthy.
Whether it's exclusive info, visuals, or even unique experiences, think those you won't believe this moments.
That feeling of being in the know, seeing something others haven't.
Drives that urge to share. And finally, FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Ah, yes, FOMO, the engine of so many online trends.
Exactly. Creating urgency or scarcity. Tapped into that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be left behind.
So people think they'll miss out on something special,
They act fast and spread the word.
trying to stay ahead of the curve.
It loops back to that exclusivity we talked about.
Yeah.
They want to be seen as in.
Okay, we've got the why and the what. Now the how. How do you actually DO whisper marketing?
Well, it starts with finding your whisperers.
Not just anyone with a big following.
Right. It's about quality over quantity. Need people whose audience aligns with your target.
So whose opinions actually matter to those people?
Exactly. They're the tastemakers, the trendsetters. Their recommendations carry weight.
Okay, so you've got your whisperers. What's next?
Give them something truly exclusive. Content, experiences, not available to the public.
Early access, behind-the-scenes stuff. Make them feel like VIPs.
Exactly. Strengthens their loyalty, makes them want to share their experience.
Okay, got the whisperers, got the exclusive content. Now, where do we actually plant these seeds of information?
That's where it gets creative. Use channels that feel natural. Discreet.
Not like a big marketing blitz.
Right. Private messages, closed communities, maybe even some leaked info.
Making it seem like the information is spreading organically.
Exactly. Mimicking real social networks. Whispers, not shouts.
One source talks about leaving breadcrumbs, little clues to spark curiosity.
Oh, I like that. A treasure hunt almost. Each clue leads you closer.
So you might drop hints on social media, forums, even in real life.
Think of those cryptic posters you see. The ones that make you wonder, what's that about?
They're designed to pull you in, make you want to learn more.
Exactly. It's about encouraging people to actively seek information, not just passively consume it.
And finally, the campaign needs to encourage sharing, but not in a pushy way.
Right. It should feel natural. Maybe offer incentives for discovering info, or create content so good people have to talk about it.
So good they can't help but tell their friends.
Precisely. Nudging them in the right direction without forcing it.
Okay, enough theory. Let's see this in action. Give us some real-world examples.
All right, let's start with a classic. The Blair Witch Project.
Ah, yes. Back in the late 90s, terrified audiences changed the game for viral marketing.
Long before today's social media, they created this brilliant campaign, played on our fascination with the unknown.
The whole is it real or not thing.
Exactly. They presented it as a documentary, blurred the lines between fiction and reality.
Missing person reports, spooky local legends.
And they seeded this info online in those early internet forums.
Turned a low-budget film into a phenomenon.
People debated its authenticity, shared theories. The line between marketing and genuine intrigue just vanished.
The perfect example of how a good whisper campaign can capture the public's imagination.
And it showed how powerful it is to tap into our fears
And
our fascination with the unexplained. And speaking of capturing imaginations, let's look at Glossier.
the beauty brand.
Started as a simple blog.
They really turned their audience into, like, passionate fans.
The founder, Emily Weiss, she built this strong online community through her blog, Into the Gloss.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Honest reviews, beauty tips, made readers feel like they were part of a conversation.
Not just, being talked AT.
Exactly. And when she launched Glossier, she used that community
Smart.
instead of big ad campaigns. Discreet launches gave early access to her most engaged followers.
Made them feel special.
Right, like they were in the in crowd. And it worked. Glossier blew up.
Cult following, products selling out.
Shows the power of authentic community and that feeling of being in the know.
Okay, from beauty, let's jump to gaming. A phenomenon that kind of took over the world. Pokemon Go.
Ah, yes. Summer of 2016, everyone was out there glued to their
It
phones.
felt like it came out of nowhere.
A lot of that was their clever use of, you guessed it, whisper marketing.
Really? Tell me more.
Before the official launch, they did these limited beta tests, certain countries only.
So they basically chose their first whisperers.
Exactly. Those beta testers, they became the evangelists, sharing their experiences, building hype.
A controlled leak of excitement.
By the time the game launched worldwide, everyone was ready. And they did it all without huge ad spending.
Brilliant. Tapped into an existing fan base, created that exclusivity.
Speaking of building a brand on social media, let's look at Daniel Wellington. Watches.
Oh yeah, those minimalist ones.
Yeah.
They were everywhere.
There was a strategy behind that. They built their whole reputation on Instagram.
How so?
They sent watches to, micro-influencers.
Not huge celebrities, but people with dedicated following.
Exactly, within specific niches. And they didn't dictate what to post. They let these influencers share organically.
Subtle but effective.
By using authentic recommendations within those communities. They were everywhere without needing traditional ads.
Okay, for a more recent example, let's talk Stranger Things, Netflix. Remember those retro ads for brands from the show?
Oh, yeah. Like Surfer Boy Pizza?
I thought those were real businesses for a second.
That's how well they did it. They put those ads online, even in real-life places. Got people curious.
Fans were coming up with theories.
It played into the 80s nostalgia, built buzz for the new season, without revealing too much.
It felt authentic to the show's vibe, not like, hey, we're marketing to you.
Exactly. And for our final example, Supreme, the streetwear brand, built on exclusivity and scarcity.
They've definitely mastered the controlled leak.
Limited product drops, often with zero fanfare, creates that urgency, the frenzy.
Fans become the whisperers themselves, sharing info on new releases.
It's a bit controversial, but they've created this powerful brand aura through scarcity and word of mouth.
Okay, so we've seen it work.
Yeah.
But whisper marketing can backfire, right? What are the things brands need to be careful about?
One big one is being too mysterious. Mystery is key, but
You can lose people if they're just confused,
yeah, you gotta strike a balance. Enough info so people feel like they're in the loop.
but not so much that the mystery is gone.
Exactly. You want them engaged, not frustrated.
Another pitfall our sources mention is going overboard on the exclusivity.
Right. That feeling of being in is important, but
Too elitist, and it backfires.
people feel excluded, left out. breeds resentment, not desire.
So how do you walk that line?
You gotta gradually expand that inner circle. Start small, then widen the net. Maybe offer tiered access.
Like early access for loyal customers, then a wider release.
Exactly. Everyone feels like they have a chance to get in on it eventually. And then there's authenticity.
Our sources really stress that one.
If it feels fake or manipulative, it'll backfire big time.
And tumors are smart. They can tell when they're being played.
And once that trust is gone, it's hard to get back.
So how do you keep it authentic?
Genuine content.
Yeah.
Genuine delivery. Offer real value. Your whisperers should be true advocates, not just paid shills. And the messaging.
Can't feel forced.
Right. It needs to flow naturally.
Like it's just happening organically.
Exactly. And finally, be prepared for success.
Sounds odd, but
One mistake brands make is they create all this buzz, but they're not ready for what comes next.
can't just sit back and hope for the best.
Gotta have the infrastructure to handle a sudden influx of traffic, orders, questions.
If your website crashes, customer service is swamped, all that hype turns into bad press.
You gotta be able to scale up to meet the demand.
Okay, we've covered a lot, but how do you measure success with whisper marketing? It seems trickier than traditional campaigns.
It is. It's not always about direct sales.
So what do you look for?
Social media mentions, for one, are people talking about your brand more, and in a good way.
Good starting point.
And brand-related searches. Are people looking you up online? Shows they're curious.
Makes sense.
If you're using influencers, track their engagement. Are people interacting with their posts about you? Shows how well the message is spreading.
And any unexplained jumps in sales or signups?
Even if you can't directly tie them to the campaign, a sudden spike could mean it's working.
Like you're raising awareness, even if it's not immediate conversions.
It's about looking for those subtle shifts. It's a bit like a detective work.
More like a ripple effect than a big splash.
Exactly. Planting seeds that'll grow into something bigger.
Okay, before we wrap up, I want to go back to something you mentioned, the ethics of all this. Some might say whisper marketing is manipulative, deceptive even.
It's a fair point, and something brands need to be mindful of. Transparency and authenticity are crucial.
So how do you balance that mystery, the intrigue, without being misleading?
Well, if you're working with influencers, they have to be upfront about it. No hiding the sponsorship.
People need to know when they're being marketed to.
If they feel tricked, it'll damage trust, hurt the brand.
So subtle, but not sneaky.
Right. It's about sparking that discovery, the excitement,
Right.
while still respecting your audience.
They have the right to know what's up.
It's about finding that balance. Ultimately, the best whisper marketing. It benefits the consumer, too.
Not just about generating hype for no reason.
Exactly. It's about offering something people actually want. Information, access, a unique experience, something they see as valuable, worth sharing.
Like that old saying, you can't fool all the people all the time.
Consumers are savvy. They can spot a fake. So if you want your campaign to work, it's got to be real and genuinely provide value.
So it's like any tool, really. You can use it for good.
Or for bad.
It all depends on how it's done.
Yeah. Intentions matter. And execution.
Yeah.
When it's done right, whisper marketing can build real excitement, create a community,
But do it wrong.
and it gets shady fast.
So anyone listening who's thinking of trying this,
Think carefully. What are your goals? Who's your audience? What kind of impact do you want to have?
be transparent, be authentic.
Those are key. If you're not honest with your audience, you're not just risking the campaign, you're risking your whole brand.
Well said. Whisper marketing. It's a fascinating topic. We've covered a lot. But before we go, I want to leave you with something to think about. Now that you know all this, have you ever been targeted by a whisper campaign? Did it feel cool, like you were in on a secret? Or did it feel kind of icky?
Yeah, good question. I think we all encounter this stuff more than we realize.
It's good to be aware of it as consumers, you know?
Definitely. The more we understand how this stuff works, the better choices we can make about which brands we support, how we engage with marketing.
Okay, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into whisper marketing. We've seen how it works, the good, the bad, and most importantly, why honesty matters. It's not just about the buzz, it's about those genuine connections. Thanks for joining us. Catch you next time.